Have you ever felt like building wealth and actually enjoying your life are two completely opposite goals that can never exist in the same universe? You know what I'm talking about. You read all these financial success stories about people who worked 80-hour weeks, lived on instant noodles for a decade, and sacrificed every moment of joy just to see their bank account grow. And you think to yourself, if that's what it takes to get rich, maybe I'll just stay broke and keep my sanity. Well, here's something that might completely change your perspective. Building real sustainable wealth doesn't require you to transform into a miserable workaholic who's forgotten what fun feels like. The truth is, the most successful wealth builders aren't the ones burning themselves out. They're the ones who have figured out how to create systems that generate money while they're living their lives. And here's what's really fascinating about this approach. When you build wealth without burning out, you're actually more likely to stick with it long enough to see real results. It's like the difference between crash dieting and developing sustainable eating habits. One might show quick results but fails spectacularly over time, while the other creates lasting transformation. My name is Nick, and I've spent years researching how people build substantial wealth without sacrificing their health, relationships, and happiness in the process. If you're tired of feeling like you have to choose between financial success and actually enjoying your life, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button, because what I'm about to share could revolutionize your entire approach to money. Now, before we get into the strategies, let me tell you why this matters more than you might realize. We're living through an epidemic of burnout. People are working themselves into the ground, destroying their health, ruining their relationships, and losing years of their lives to stress, all in the pursuit of financial security. The irony is absolutely tragic. They're sacrificing their present hoping to buy a better future, but by the time they get there, they're too exhausted or unhealthy to enjoy it. Think about it this way. What's the point of having $1 million in the bank if you've developed chronic health problems from stress, your marriage has fallen apart because you were never home, and you've missed watching your kids grow up? That's not wealth. That's just trading your life for money, and it's a terrible deal. The wealthy people who actually seem happy, the ones who have both money and fulfillment, they understand something crucial. Wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. And you can't run a marathon at sprinting speed without collapsing before the finish line. They've learned to pace themselves, to build systems that work efficiently without requiring constant, exhausting effort. But here's what most people get wrong about this balanced approach. They think it means being lazy or not taking wealth building seriously. They hear work-life balance and assume it's an excuse for mediocrity. That couldn't be further from the truth. Building wealth without burnout isn't about working less hard. It's about working smarter. It's about understanding that your energy, creativity, and decision-making ability are finite resources that need to be managed strategically. When you're exhausted and stressed, you make worse decisions. You miss opportunities. You're more likely to make expensive mistakes. Ironically, the hustle until you drop mentality often leads to slower wealth building, not faster. Let me share something that might surprise you. Studies show that productivity dramatically drops after about 50 hours of work per week. Beyond that point, you're not getting more done, you're just spending more time doing it. Your brain needs rest to function at its best. Your body needs recovery. Your relationships need attention. When you neglect these things in pursuit of money, you're actually sabotaging your own success. Throughout this video, I'm going to walk you through a comprehensive system for building substantial wealth while maintaining your sanity, health, and happiness. We're going to cover everything from how to structure your income streams for maximum efficiency with minimum stress, to the psychological mindset shifts that separate balanced wealth builders from burnout casualties. And yes, I'm going to share specific strategies that can help you make more money in less time, which is the ultimate goal here. First, let's talk about why the traditional hustle culture approach is not just unsustainable, it's actually inefficient. The hustle mentality tells you that if you're not constantly grinding, you're falling behind. It glorifies exhaustion and treats rest like weakness. But this approach ignores basic human biology and psychology. Your brain isn't designed to make complex financial decisions when it's running on 4 hours of sleep and sustained stress. Your creativity, which is essential for finding opportunities and solving problems, doesn't flourish when you're in constant survival mode. Some of the best financial decisions you'll ever make will come during moments of rest and reflection, not during your 14th hour of work. Here's what actually works. Instead of trying to do everything yourself through sheer force of will and endless hours, you build systems and leverage. You focus on the activities that generate the most value and eliminate or delegate everything else. You recognize that your time and energy are your most valuable assets, and you protect them as fiercely as you protect your money. This is why smart entrepreneurs automate their businesses. It's why successful investors create passive income streams. It's why wealthy people hire experts to handle things outside their expertise instead of trying to do everything themselves. They understand that their mental bandwidth is limited and precious. Strategy number 1 for building wealth without burnout is absolutely crucial. and it's something most people completely ignore. I'm talking about designing your income for sustainability, not just size. Most people focus exclusively on how much money they can make without considering how much time, energy, and stress it costs to make that money. They'll take a job that pays 20% more without considering that it requires 50% more hours and triples their stress levels. That's not a good trade. When you're evaluating income opportunities, you need to think about return on energy invested, not just return on time invested. A side hustle that generates $500 a month but leaves you exhausted and miserable is worse than one that generates $300 a month but you actually enjoy. The sustainable one will still be generating income 5 years from now. The exhausting one will burn you out within months. This is why building passive income streams is so powerful. I'm not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or passive income fantasies where you do nothing and money magically appears. I'm talking about creating systems that generate income with minimal ongoing effort once they're established. This could be dividend-paying investments, rental properties with good property management, digital products that sell while you sleep, or businesses that run primarily on systems rather than your constant involvement. Strategy number 2 is about protecting your peak performance hours. Most people treat all hours of the day as equal, but they're absolutely not. You have certain times when your brain is firing on all cylinders, when you're most creative, most focused, most capable of complex thinking. These are your golden hours, and how you use them will determine your success more than almost anything else. If you're spending your peak performance hours on low-value activities like answering emails, attending unnecessary meetings, or doing busy work that feels productive but doesn't actually move the needle, you're wasting your most valuable resource. The wealthy protect their peak hours ruthlessly. They use them for high-value activities like strategic thinking, important decisions, creative work, and relationship building. Everything else gets scheduled for lower energy times or delegated entirely. For most people, this means identifying when you're at your best. Maybe you're a morning person who thinks clearly right after waking up. Maybe you hit your stride in the afternoon. Whatever your pattern, you need to structure your wealth-building activities around your natural rhythms, not against them. When you work with your biology instead of fighting it, you accomplish more in less time with less stress. Strategy number 3 is implementing what I call strategic laziness. This sounds counterintuitive, but stay with me. Strategic laziness means being deliberately selective about what you choose to do. It means saying no to opportunities that don't align with your goals, even if they seem profitable. It means accepting that you cannot and should not try to do everything. Warren Buffett has a great quote about this. The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. When you try to pursue every opportunity, you spread yourself too thin. You become mediocre at many things instead of excellent at a few things. And excellence is what generates real wealth. Think about it this way. If you're trying to build wealth through 5 different side hustles, 3 different investment strategies, and 2 different business ideas all at the same time, you're not going to do any of them particularly well. But if you focus on 1 or 2 things and become really good at them, you'll generate far better results with far less stress. Strategic laziness also means automating and systematizing everything possible. If you're manually paying bills every month, you're wasting time and mental energy. Automate it. If you're spending hours tracking expenses, use software that does it automatically. If you're constantly making the same decisions over and over, create rules or systems that make those decisions for you. Every decision you have to make, even small ones, consumes mental energy. This is called decision fatigue, and it's why Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. He didn't want to waste mental energy on clothing decisions when he could use that energy for more important things. Apply this principle to your finances. The more you can systematize and automate, the less mental energy you waste, and the more you have available for decisions that actually matter. Strategy number 4 is investing in recovery like it's part of your wealth-building strategy, because it absolutely is. High performers in every field understand that recovery isn't the opposite of productivity. It's what enables sustained high performance. Athletes don't train at maximum intensity 24/7. They have recovery periods built into their training because that's when their bodies actually get stronger. Your brain works the same way. When you're constantly pushing without adequate recovery, you're not building wealth faster. You're degrading your most important asset, which is your ability to think clearly and make good decisions. This means taking real time off where you're not checking email or thinking about work. It means getting adequate sleep, which is non-negotiable if you want your brain to function properly. It means engaging in activities that genuinely restore your energy, whether that's exercise, hobbies, time with loved ones, or whatever works for you. I know some of you are thinking this sounds nice but impractical. You feel like you can't afford to take time off or prioritize rest because you're behind on your financial goals. But here's the reality. When you're well rested and energized, you make better financial decisions. You spot opportunities you would have missed when exhausted. You have the creativity to solve problems that seemed impossible when you were burned out. You're simply more effective at building wealth when you're not running on empty. Strategy number 5 is building wealth through subtraction, not just addition. Most wealth-building advice focuses on adding more income, more investments, more side hustles, more strategies. But sometimes the fastest path to wealth is removing the things that are draining your resources without providing adequate return. This could mean eliminating subscriptions and expenses that don't add real value to your life. It could mean ending business relationships that consume tons of energy but generate minimal profit. It could mean quitting activities that seem productive but don't actually move you toward your goals. Every commitment you have, financial or otherwise, has a cost in terms of time, energy, and mental bandwidth. When you ruthlessly eliminate low-value commitments, you free up resources that can be redirected toward high-value activities. This creates more wealth with less effort. Think about your current financial life. How many accounts do you have to manage? How many investments do you need to monitor? How many income streams require your attention? More isn't always better. Sometimes simplification is the path to both more wealth and less stress. Strategy number 6 is leveraging other people's expertise instead of trying to become an expert at everything yourself. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to personally understand and manage every aspect of their finances. This leads to paralysis by analysis and enormous amounts of wasted time. Yes, you should understand the basics of investing, taxes, insurance, and other financial topics. You don't need to become a CPA, a certified financial planner, and a tax attorney all rolled into one. That's why those professions exist. Smart, wealthy people hire experts to handle complex situations, and they view the cost as an investment, not an expense. Spending a few $100s for a CPA to optimize your taxes can save you thousands. Paying for a financial advisor who helps you avoid costly mistakes can be worth multiples of their fee. Hiring a bookkeeper to manage your business finances frees up your time for activities that generate far more value. The key is understanding when DIY makes sense and when it's a waste of your most valuable resource, which is your time and mental energy. For routine decisions and basic knowledge, DIY is fine. For complex situations with significant financial implications, hire expertise. Finally, let's talk about the most important strategy of all, defining what wealth actually means to you beyond just a number in your bank account. Most people pursue wealth without really thinking about why they want it or what it's supposed to enable in their lives. They just know they want more money, so they chase it without considering whether their approach aligns with their actual values and life goals. Real wealth isn't just about having money. It's about having the freedom, security, and options that money provides. But if you destroy your health, relationships, and happiness while pursuing money, you're not becoming wealthy. You're just becoming rich and miserable, which is a terrible outcome. Take time to define what financial success actually looks like for you. Maybe it's having enough passive income to work part-time. Maybe it's being debt-free with a solid emergency fund. Maybe it's having the freedom to take a month off every year to travel. Whatever it is, get clear on it, because that clarity will guide every financial decision you make. When you know what you're building toward and why it matters, it becomes much easier to stay motivated without burning out. You're not just accumulating money for its own sake. You're creating a life that aligns with your values. That's sustainable. That's meaningful. That's real wealth. Building wealth without burnout isn't about choosing between financial success and life satisfaction. It's about recognizing that sustainable wealth building requires both. When you take care of yourself, build systems that work efficiently, and stay focused on what actually matters, you create wealth that enhances your life rather than consuming it. The path to financial independence doesn't have to be miserable. In fact, it shouldn't be. If you're constantly stressed, exhausted, and unhappy, something's wrong with your approach, not with you. Make the adjustments necessary to build wealth in a way that's sustainable for your unique situation. Your future wealthy self will thank you not just for the money, but for still being healthy and happy enough to enjoy it.